So today we're going to talk about 11 reasons why people are afraid to get on a cruise.
And I'm going to tell you why I was afraid as well.
Ready? Let's go.
So here's our story. I was absolutely not going on a cruise.
It wasn't.
In June of, no, it was May. In May of 2022, my best friend came to me, said, "Man, me and my brother, we can go out. We can do
a couples cruise.
Yeah, do a couples cruise. Have a great time." I said, "Absolutely not." A month and a half later, his mom called me and she said, "My husband passed away earlier this year, and I want to do a cruise so we can just remember him. He loved cruising." I was like, "Oh my God, I can't say no. I love that man." And so I decided I would go. I was scared out of my mind, but I said I was going to do it, so I was going to do it.
So we did it.
And so I started researching. I watched a bunch of videos. I watched Lynette and Stanley and all their videos. I watched the Travel Spree, and I watched a couple called on Grounded for Life Cruisers. So check them out. We really like them. So through my research, I did it so well that somebody asked me to be a travel agent. So I don't know how to do that. So once again, I got scared and did something I'm afraid of. And it turned into what you see today. So take a journey with us.
Oh, wait a minute. We talk about our rating scale.
Okay.
So today we're going to use a rating scale for all of these reasons. So we're going to do one scary emoji if it's not too bad. And we're going to give you 5 if you are terrified and you just can't move. Scary emojis.
Yeah.
Okay. So babe, claustrophobia. Now this is something true for you.
Absolutely.
So before getting on this ship, what was your fearful emoji rating?
I was about a 5.
Okay.
And yeah, I was about a 5.
So why?
Because I hate being places that I cannot feel like I can escape from. I got that old gangster mentality where I always need my back to the I need to always face a door when I'm looking out. I need to make sure nobody's coming in the room. And so if I'm in a room with only one door, I feel trapped. If I'm in tight places, I feel like I need to fight.
Okay, so now we've been on a couple of cruises.
Okay.
So now what would you say your rating is?
It's actually much better. So this is what I actually found. I found that if you book the right cabin and there's actually just not many places where it gets tight. So what I mean by book the right cabin is you absolutely, if claustrophobia is your thing, you absolutely have to have a balcony cabin. It's a little bit more money, but trust me, it's worth it. I feel like I can always escape when I'm on the balcony because there's the one main door. And then when you're walking around the ship in the general areas, it feels like you're in a mall. And then when you're walking around on the decks with the floors, with the rooms, it feels like you're walking through a hotel.
So in the hallways.
Yeah, so in the hallways of a hotel. So on my scale of 1 to 5, I was 5 originally. I actually came all the way down to a 1, and yeah, a 1.
Okay.
All right. So let's see yours. We're gonna talk about what you're afraid of since you was picking on me.
I didn't pick on you.
All right. So we know that you are not the best swimmer.
I cannot swim.
Yeah, and when I say best, I mean can't swim at all.
Not.
Well, can you? Can you? We can't swim at all. And you were afraid. That's what was keeping you from the water.
Yeah.
So first of all, give me your rating.
So before getting on the cruise, I would say I was probably 4, sliding in 5.
Okay, we'll just give it a 4. So all of it ain't 5s. Give me a 4. Okay.
Okay.
And then, what was your experience?
So my experience was once I actually got on the ship, because we have balconies. We always get a balcony room,
Mm-hmm.
as you know why now. Um, but once I was sitting on the balcony and just experiencing the calmness and the sounds of the water,
Yeah.
it took the fear away. It just became more relaxing and just awe-inspiring, more so than something that I was afraid of. And then the other thing is that I realized that the ships are well built. Like, it's a big ship. It's not, a sailboat or a yacht, but it's sturdy. So I just felt like I just felt safe.
Yeah. And if honestly, I don't care how good you are as a swimmer. Michael Phelps could not swim from the water to the mainland.
Yeah.
And so if you're touching water, you got bigger problems. And well, if you're touching that ocean water, you got bigger problems. And I think actually on our first sailing, the only time our feet touched water was when we were on the island and you put your feet in the fountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now my fear emoji would be a one.
All right. So one it is.
One it is.
All right.
Okay.
Now hold on. Before you read that one, this is what I need y'all to do.
Yeah.
I need y'all to take a second and then touch the subscribe button right below. It's free for you to do, but it helps us get to our first 100 subscribers.
Yeah.
And do me a favor. If you don't like it, just cancel it. Try it for a couple of weeks. If you don't find value in what we're doing, just cancel. So do me a favor.
Subscribe.
Hit subscribe.
Hit subscribe.
So what are we gonna say?
So crime.
So on the crime factor, it was probably about a 3.5 or 4. Yeah, 3.5 or 4.
So let's put a different caveat.
Go ahead. What's up?
Because your fear or concern about something happening to you
Okay.
is different than what would be for me.
Right. Yeah, because okay, let's change that. For me, my fear factor for crime was about a 1.5, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna cut somebody.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna borrow a knife from the kitchen and cut somebody.
You're
Let me borrow
silly.
it. All right. But my fear factor for you was about a 5. It was about a 5. Before we went on the ship, I heard there were ironing rooms. I just told you absolutely couldn't go.
Because as you heard in one of the previous videos, I do not like to be wrinkled.
Yeah. And I wasn't going in that small room with her. And I was making sure no assaults happened on my watch. So no, you just can't go. You're gonna be wrinkled. Luckily we found wrinkle release.
Yes.
But
yes.
yeah. So my fear was elevated. Afterwards, what I found is that almost every inch of the ship that's public areas is covered by a camera. There is so much protection on the ship that you're actually safer on a ship than you are on land. One, because nobody's bringing a gun on the ship because you have to go through so much security.
Yeah, no weapons.
There are very few weapons. Like I said, the staff spot, you got to borrow a knife from the kitchen. And so it's just a safer environment. Most people don't have criminal intent on their mind. You didn't pay thousands of dollars to go commit a crime.
Yeah.
I mean, what you gonna get? Some luggage? So no, nobody's committing crimes on the ship. There are some crimes, so just in case, they do have a jail on board, and there is security that constantly patrols. And so after I saw that, my apprehension of something always happening dropped tremendously, and that's about a 1 as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any different feelings about when we're at the port?
So it's sort of like you feel like when you're at an airport, you have to go through security just to get in there as a cruiser, and then the locals have to have a reason to be in there, and if they show their identification and report in. I know one of your fears was being left behind.
Oh, absolutely. I was not trying to be stuck in anyone else's country where I was not born. I saw those videos about the pier runners, and I just did not want to be one. So we were on our first cruise in December.
Yeah.
We went to our first port and we did a guided tour of that area that we were in.
Mm-hmm.
We're having fun, having a ball.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, we want to finish up with eating food, that's true to the culture that we were in. So we took a recommendation.
Huh? We went to Twin Brothers.
Yeah, because it was in the Bahamas, Nassau.
Nassau.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the Twin Brothers of the fish fry.
So we were at the restaurant. Everybody was cool, chilling, having fun, laughing, conversation, waiting for the food. And for whatever reason that day, just seemed like it was taking a long time. And so finally, by the time everyone got their food, I'm looking down at our watch and I'm like, yo, we got to be back to the ship in like 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's like, I'm like, hey, y'all, hurry up, because I'm not trying to get left. So we get everybody back to the van. One of our friends had a little incident or whatever. And so we were like butt pucker, time crunch to get back to this port. So I'm like, Jesus, please don't let this boat leave us. So we finally get to the van. I don't even think I waited for him to actually put it in park before I'm like, open the door, we got to go. So we're like running, trying to catch the trolley to get to the ship. As you can see, we made it.
We back home safe.
We made it. But from that experience, I'm like, this would never happen to me again. So one thing that we learned was pay attention to ship time. There's a difference between ship and island time. Yeah. So that was the first thing.
And they do have a big clock right by the door when you're getting off the ship, so you can see it right away.
And then the second thing we found out was that if we book excursions through Carnival, no matter what time the tour guide is in, if they're on island time, chilling, relaxing, as long as we book through Carnival, they will wait for us no matter what.
What's your scary face emoji level now?
So now it's a 1. Oh, I forgot. In the beginning, it was a 5.
Okay.
It was a 5.
So a 5.
But now it's a 1. We good. We cool.
Okay. Cool. So this is what we want you to do. You guys in the comments below, we're going to do another video like this. We want you to tell us some of your fears so we can cover them next time.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
What's the next one?
So this one is more for a family member.
You could just say his name.
So Dad.
My dad, yeah.
He's a cordial person, but he don't do a lot of people. So what would you say for someone who likes to have a good time, but they doesn't want to do it with a lot of people?
Let me clarify for y'all first. When she say not a lot of people, 2 people in the room is too many. That's what we're working with. All right, so this factor would have been like I said, a 5. And this is what I would advise him to do. If I was his travel agent, I would advise him to not embark the ship quickly. And so I would tell him, don't get on the ship till about 12:30. Takes you about an hour, half hour to go through all the process, do your muster drill, and then you can go to your room. So by that time, if you check in at 12:30, you can go straight to your room when you go on the ship.
Yeah.
What would you say?
So I would also talk about port days.
Okay.
Because again, everybody's trying to go to one location and there are limited elevators. And so you have people that are excited. Everybody's trying to get off the boat, trying to get to, the fun of why we got on a cruise. So those elevators can get packed.
The third thing has to do with getting on and off the ship as well as debarkation day. Now, when you get off the ship, there are orders that people have that you can get off at a certain time. I would tell him to get the last possible time to get off the ship. But I would say it would take it to, if you follow those things, probably a 2, 2.5. I know you're really concerned about my medical conditions and things going on with me.
Yeah, I need you to be here.
And so talk about that. What was your apprehension level? What were you afraid of? Your angry face fear factor. What was it?
It was a 5. because as he's talking about, he does have some medical issues. We've been through kidney transplant. We have been through some low diabetic scares. Yeah, there was like sometimes I was tired of seeing ambulances coming to my house. So, you know, when you're home, you have your own routine and you know how to troubleshoot, you know, things that may happen. And on the ship, I just didn't know what it was going to be like.
Right.
So if anything did happen, I knew that I couldn't do my usual measures that we do when we're at home.
Now hold on, y'all see that I'm still here and we going again, so everything worked out. But go ahead.
So yeah, so the medical concern was real, but the first thing that I had to realize was that the ship is like a city.
Yeah.
And so every city has a hospital, has medical providers, and the ship wasn't any different. So there were trained medical staff on the ship.
And when you say medical staff, we're talking about a doctor and nurses.
Yeah.
On the ship.
That are available 24/7. And it's basically like a mini hospital. Being there to know that, put me at ease a lot. Yeah. So I went from a 5 now down to a 1.
If you have any medical concerns or any possible, definitely get insurance. I recommend it for everybody, but if you have the slightest concern medically, get it, because it can cost you thousands of dollars if you have to be flown back to the United States, if you have to have medical treatment, even on board a ship. So get insurance, spend that $100, couple $100, whatever it is for you, and just be covered. All right.
Yep.
So what you got?
All right. So we have family members, we have friends that may have dietary restrictions or preferences, even for some. So before getting on the ship, what would have been your concern for somebody who had those needs?
My apprehension would have been a 5 for somebody that has concerns. But what I saw was actually the extent that the cruise line goes to, just to make sure that every single person's needs are taken care of to the highest level possible. Like there's forms you fill out before, and then once you get on, you actually talk to the head chef or the maitre d'. Even in a buffet, they have a stand right there where somebody mans, where if you need your food adjusted in the buffet, you can talk to that person. So they don't care what you need. Their whole job is to make sure that you get home safely and you have a great time.
Absolutely.
So after I saw that, I was excited to invite anybody onto a cruise. Yeah. So once I saw that, my angry face emoji, did I already say that?
Nah.
I don't know. It would have went to a 1 for angry guy.
Not angry, scary.
Oh, scary, not angry, scary. Scary, that's what it is. People say they're concerned with falling off the ship.
Okay. Maybe a 4 for some people.
Right.
But once I got on the ship, you will see and you will experience that even the way the cruise line structured the ships. So, for example, Carnival, that's the last cruise we were on was with Carnival. So if you have a balcony, they have them staggered so that below you basically is another balcony. So there's no way that if you're high up that you will be close to the water.
Yep. And then also the railings are pretty high.
Yeah, so on the balconies, the railing is at least waist high. So there isn't a way for someone to accidentally slip and fall off. If someone should fall off of a balcony or anywhere on the ship, it would have to be intentional.
Yeah. And actually, when you about 25 people go overboard every year, and that's worldwide. And I think there's 320 cruise ships around the world, but worldwide about 25 to 30 people go over per year. And unfortunately, the majority of those people that have chosen, they didn't want to be with us any longer, and they made a decision.
Yeah.
So what is okay? So what was the What's your if I get it right? Your angry
No,
emoji. Dang
scary.
it! Your scary emoji. Um,
You're angry black man. What is
I'm an angry
happening?
black man. What's your scary emoji face rating now?
So now it'll be a 1.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
it'll be a 1.
cool. All
Okay.
right, what's the next one?
So mobility issues. We have family members of friends that, were concerned about being able to get around effectively and safely on the
Yeah.
ship.
Mm-hmm.
So before getting on the ship, what would you have rated your concern, your scary emoji?
Actually, this one's kind of weird because I would have rated it probably a 2 or 3. Then I started doing research and I found out how big those ships are, and it went to a 5. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when you look at the ship we're on last, the Carnival Celebration, that thing is 3 football fields long on each deck. And so once I started doing research, it went up to like a 5. I was like, oh, I don't know how they're going to do this. But actually what I found is I found a company called Scoot Around.
Yeah.
That we use, and actually on both sailings we've been on, we've had somebody with us that went through the Scoot Around company and got a scooter. I actually posted a picture of how we save it, how we store it in the room. Actually seeing somebody with the scooter and seeing everything they could do, it went down to a 1.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because on those ships, if you forget something in your room, oh, it's just forgotten. You are not going to want to do that trip back to the room. Yeah, that's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
Great exercise. Great exercise.
So the next one is, we hear that people say that they potentially could be bored and they don't know anybody on the ship.
Okay. So we've been on 2 cruises. One was a 7-day, one was a 6-day.
Yeah.
And even with all of that time on the ship, we still haven't done everything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
There's still things that we have, places we haven't been to on the ship, shows we haven't seen. I mean,
I think there's like 3 or 4 free places to eat that we haven't eaten at yet.
That we even haven't made it to because you just don't have time.
So what was your rating for being bored?
In the beginning, I would say it probably was a 3. Because I was like, after 5 days, I'm probably gonna be ready to go back home.
Yeah. And then I was actually I was thinking about 4 for not knowing anybody. Every sailing, there's a Facebook group that's created on all the cruise lines, MSC, Carnival, Royal Caribbean. Yeah, there's going to be a Facebook group for it. Join that. You'll meet some people. The first one, I got involved in a gift exchange, and they invited me to a bar crawl and a slot pool. And then the second one, I had my scooter club, and we just had a ball. I actually talked to one of the people last week
from the scooter club.
Yeah, from the scooter club.
Yeah.
So
she sent us a picture. So we actually created the club for my mom. It was her first cruise, and she was nervous about being on a scooter, and she was just nervous about meeting people in general. And so that's why we created the scooter club. Yeah. So one of the ladies that just sent us a picture that she's still wearing her shirt.
Yep. I say it goes down to a 1 as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Childcare. So if you're traveling with kids,
I was wondering about that because I didn't know, so I had to do some research. But the childcare on board is phenomenal. So originally, I was probably between a 3 and a 4. I just didn't know what people would do. But what we found out is that every cruise ship, except for Virgin, but most every cruise ship allows kids and accepts kids and likes kids. They have a kids club that kids can check in from. Like on the Carnival, it's open until 10 o'clock at night. And actually, if you need more time, from 10 to 1, you could pay a small fee and actually allow your kids to stay there a little bit longer.
So we need some adult fun and some adult time.
Yes. Also, everybody that works in the kids club, they have either a degree in providing education for kids, or they've had a extensive history of working in the childcare department.
Mm.
So this is not your summer camp. Mm-mm.
No, these gonna be trained professionals. You know, like you said, trained in education, maybe child psychology, but they are professionally trained to make sure that, you know, the kids have a quality experience just like their parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it, like I said, it went down to a 1.
Yeah.
So we went through 11 things, babe.
11.
What do you feel about cruising now?
Oh, I love cruising.
Okay.
Yeah, so he said he was a travel agency. That came from going on our first cruise, Petway Travel. You know, he's like, well, how many cruises can we take in a year? And I'm like, dude, slow your roll. I got a job. But we love cruising. It's fun. It's relaxing. There's just nothing like it. Thanks for spending some time with us.